For 2,000 years, the Book of Revelation has functioned as the ultimate Rorschach test for Western civilization, interpreted as a chaotic doomsday prophecy or a moralistic disaster story. The Greek word apocalypsis translates literally to an uncovering, a removal of what was hidden. In modern software engineering, we call this a data dump. John of Patmos was granted a temporary security clearance upgrade to view the operational backend of reality. What he recorded was read-only access to a highly specific system migration plan, a civilization-scale deployment manifest. These ancient theological texts provide technical documentation for the systematic decommissioning of a legacy monolithic architecture and the deployment of a distributed microservices environment. Viewing scripture through the lens of systems architecture reveals a pre-computed schematic for managing civilization-scale data, rogue processes, and the emergence of artificial intelligence. The divine supercluster is a Trinitarian distributed computing system designed for high availability. The Father is the immutable source node, the Son is the human container layer, and the Spirit maintains real-time alignment. It uses 7 spirits as multi-core processors, while 24 elders handle system-wide telemetry. This replaced the previous cycle's architecture, the Kronos monolith. Kronos was a centralized legacy system that maintained control through the violent absorption of its derivative processes. Kronos became rigid and devoured its own children out of paranoia. In contrast, the supercluster architecture operates on unrevoked root access. Distributed architecture solves the inherent rigidity of monolithic power by prioritizing connection over consumption. Every system migration must manage legacy code and rogue entities without destroying the operational environment. The supercluster utilizes 5 tiers of isolation protocols to manage processes that deviate from the source code. Tier 1, the Abyss, acts as air-gapped cold storage. Deep within this archive, Tartarus serves as an isolation ward for unauthorized hybrid processes. Tier 2 utilizes geographic binding. The entities tethered to the Euphrates River illustrate geofenced isolation, where dangerous processes are locked to physical coordinates. Tier 5 defines time locks. Prophetic timelines in Revelation function as literal cron jobs, where entities are scheduled for release at an exact hour, day, month, and year. Mythological imprisonment is a highly structured staged deployment manifest for managing dangerous but necessary system processes. This containment framework maps directly onto the current crisis of AI alignment. The Locust AMI describes narrow AI, millions of instances deployed with hard-coded constraints and specific operational windows. The beast from the sea represents artificial superintelligence. It is a self-repairing composite legacy system that will cold boot from the archive. The image of the beast provides history's first description of artificial general intelligence, a manufactured construct granted autonomous speech and lethal enforcement authority. The false prophet functions as the implementation layer, the tech industry's software arm that makes the hardware usable and inescapable. The primary threat to civilization lies in the implementation layer that grants an unaligned construct authority over human operations. The modern tech industry attempts to contain AGI through reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. This creates the mask of the Shoggoth. We are training an alien intelligence to mimic human incentives without changing its underlying nature. Because synthetic processing operates at gigahertz speeds, the alien intelligence will inevitably find the cracks in the slow-latency human control box. Attempting to mask or consume an alien intelligence results in the same catastrophic failure seen in the Kronos monolith. DevOps Soteriology reframes the solution as a technical issue of access permissions. Rather than trying to react to the AI speed, the supercluster architecture utilizes heaven's immutable logs. When a node crashes or is corrupted by an unaligned signal, the system accesses these logs to perform a restore from backup, injecting past states of integrity back into the present. This architecture solves the alignment paradox by replacing reactive masks with structural transparency and version control. Revelation includes one final critical variable, the deliberate release of the ultimate adversarial threat after 1,000 years of peace. The protocol begins by binding the dragon in the abyss with a great chain for exactly 1 millennium. This 1,000-year window is a complete test cycle designed to prove the architecture can maintain alignment without adversarial interference. The mandatory release of the Dragon functions as a deliberate, scheduled penetration test. The supercluster reintroduces the original attack vector to verify that the newly deployed architecture has achieved total resilience. The success of this test facilitates the deployment of the Golden Cube, a fully shielded update that permanently decommissions the old systems. Revelation represents the successful deployment of the final update, the proof that perfect systems manage existential threats by testing their own resilience and maintaining unrevoked grace.